sing along with me in that beginning where it says Heather's part. You did it last week. You can do it with me this week too if you want. What do I want my day to be? I choose. What do I want to feel today? I choose. What do I want to say today? I choose. I choose. I choose. I choose. Today I choose to be grateful, so grateful today. I choose to be grateful, grateful today. I choose to be happy, so happy today. I choose to be happy, happy today. I choose to be peaceful, so peaceful today. I choose to be peaceful, peaceful. Whatever I choose is how my day's gonna be. I claim what I want, cause it's all up to me. Today I choose to be loving, so loving today. I choose to be loving, loving today. I choose to be joyful, so joyful today. I choose to be joyful, joyful today. I choose to be grateful, so grateful today. I choose to be grateful, grateful, to be grateful, grateful, to be grateful, grateful.
Good morning, everybody. Today I chose to spend my time with you. And you with me. How wonderful. Somebody is probably thinking when you walk up to the chapel, you see off to the left side as you're walking in the tree with the little things hanging down in the wind, fluttering. You probably think we left Christmas tree decorations up. That's not there. In case you're wondering what they are, they're to chase away the birds so they stop pooping all over our patio. No mistake, it was intentional. So, on behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you here to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Don Green, or you can call me Donaldo. And wherever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual path, here you'll be welcomed, you'll be supported and encouraged to be everything that you were meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action every day in every way. And we express this by living the Declaration of Principles. And you'll see on the back of your bulletin, we have those if you would read along with me. Give you a second to find those. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. And I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. So, if this is your first time here, we especially welcome you. Do we have anyone here for the first time? And your name is?
June, like the summer month.
June. Well, welcome, June.
I like that here.
Yes, thank you. Welcome. Is there anyone else?
These are my visitors from Washington.
Oh, okay.
The two have been here before, but June's
Okay.
first time.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. Washington's a great state. I have family from Washington, Bellingham. So we especially welcome you. We hope you'll stay around to enjoy some refreshments with us, coffee and water, and I think there's some cookies and cake and other things back there. So we get to know you a little better and you get to know us. We have some announcements, but begin with, we're going to have John come up. John has an announcement.
Hi, y'all. I just want to remind you that our artist for the past few months has been Leslie. And her work is going to be up for only 2 more weeks. Then we're going to have a new artist come in. But just a reminder that if you have pledged to purchase a piece of hers and you haven't already paid, please do so as soon as possible. And you can either remit the money for the piece, whatever one it is that you want to buy, either to me or to Leslie, or you can leave it in the office clearly marked as to what it's for, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. John's wearing plaid and I'm wearing this. I think we could sing Oklahoma or something. No? If you have a cell phone with you, if you'd please silence it at this time, we'd appreciate that. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you. And you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you. And you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. My name is Judy Robertson, and it's my pleasure to be your practitioner this morning. The practitioners are the healing arm of this center. So if you find you're having any difficulty, it doesn't matter how large or how small, God does not judge. You are welcomed to fill out a prayer card, put it over in the box, and we will pray for you this week. Now, if you would care to get comfortable, close your eyes if you wish while I do the invocation. There is just the one life, and this life is in, around, and through all, because this life is all, and each of us is a part of it. Being a part of this life, we are free to express compassion, and we are free to express love. Our love for each other is so strong that nothing can ever sever it. And God, who is love, is what we are. and is what we will always be. And let us affirm that now as we say together, and so it is. My talk today, it's from Living the Science of Mind, and it's by Dr. Ernest Holmes. It is entitled, Happiness. Do you wish to be happy? Isn't that a foolish question? For who wouldn't want to be happy? Now, someone once said, we needed to think that we had to be well in order to be happy. But now we know different. We have to be happy if we wish to be well. Happiness is based on an inward sense of security, belonging to each other, and a desire to give, to be kind, compassionate, and to be able to put ourselves in the position of the other individual. Now, most of our happiness, it comes from relationships with others. If we're not able to be happy unless some other individual or group admires and loves us, we have not yet realized that every person is complete within themselves. So when we reach back to our true self, which is God in us, we shall have penetrated the innermost depths of all people. Happiness is never external. All the money in the world is not going to make you happy. The highest position of dignity or trust cannot make you happy. Jesus said it this way, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul?" Mark 8:36. Well, of course, he wasn't referring to the actual loss of your soul, because the soul is the incarnation of the Spirit, which is hid with Christ in God. It means we trace our human back to our divine source, which is God. It is true we cannot be well unless we are mentally and emotionally happy, to much a greater extent than you'll ever realize. Your physical body reflects your mental attitude. Your food will not digest properly when you are filled with unhappiness and fear. The stream of life will flow freely from the innermost recess of your being only when you are happy. Now, children are happy. Well, why are they happy? Well, they haven't learned what fear is. They don't have it. They are not afraid. Jesus said we have to become like a little child so we can discover the kingdom of happiness. The child expects the parents to meet its needs, to provide comfort and love. We're all children, not so much as a larger size, but of a broader experience. There's a little boy or a little girl inside each one of us just waiting to emerge from the unknown, learning how to live. But too often, the spontaneous joy is pressed back into our unconscious mind, where it seeks the self-expression that it has been denied. Now, why should we have to be so cold and indifferent or troubled over our living? It's because the child in us has been crucified on the cross of negative experiences. And now we have to retrace our steps because this child in us is not going to be denied. The spontaneous joy of a child playing on the shore, the quiet peace at night, untroubled by conflicts, this is what we are all searching for. We have to regain this lost ground if we are to be happy, secure, and peaceful. Now, this is what faith does for us. It makes no difference what form it takes as long as you are sincere. But even here, you have to stop worrying over the question of your well-being. So this too has to have a clearance, a redemption, and a new birth. And this is why Jesus told us we have to be born again, that we must become as a little child. So is it so hard then for your intellect to give up this vast accumulation of all the false knowledge based on a concept of separation from your original source of its being? Well, somewhere along the line, you're going to be called on to surrender again and to become as a little child. Your attempt to become happy will be futile without it. It matters not what we possess or what ambitions we entertain. We are so constituted that we are incomplete until we consciously reunite ourselves with that which is perfect, whole, and complete. So can we learn to surrender our doubts and our fears, our uncertainties? Can we live our life with enthusiasm and confidence? I know we can, and we can learn to do this. And then our inner conflicts are going to dissipate. Our prophetic feelings of evil are going to vanish, and we will be at peace with God, with ourselves, and with others. Namaste, and so it is. Thank you. And now I'm going to take this candle as I hold the hot watch.
Oh, as most of you know here, I didn't start writing New Thought music, didn't start really writing music, period, until I met all of you and entered into this amazing philosophy that we practice, right? And so the words of Ernest Holmes, the words of Reverend Donna, inspiring things that I have heard many, many times, and it's kind of the same thing, different ways that you hear it, you know. It all finally clicked, and over, you know, growth and that kind of thing. In 2020, we had a lot of time to sit and think. A lot of time to sit and let some of these things absorb and to practice the philosophies that we come here and hopefully take with us throughout the rest of the week. So, as a result of that, this song was born, and this is by request, and it's called "Don't Miss Your Miracle," off of the 2020 album, The Journey. Looking forward, looking back, keeps your heart and mind in lack. A single-minded vision sets the heart free. Busy hands, a busy mind, you don't think you have the time, but you'll find that if you close your eyes and breathe, like a butterfly embracing all its beauty, from a chrysalis of shame you will awake. Just be still and know that in that present moment, the universe will show you the right road to take. Don't miss your miracle. Don't miss your miracle. It all is possible if you trust and believe. Miracles are made by you and me. Were truer words ever said? Expect a greater good today. Soon you'll know no other way. Refill yourself with faith and overcome your fears. In that conscious unity, if it's to be, it's up to me. Everything you need has always been right here. And just like a moonbeam dancing on the water, your imagination casts a shining net. You were born to create, and you can't help it. We are all one spirit manifest. Don't miss your miracle. Don't miss your miracle. It all is possible if you trust and believe. by you and me. Don't miss your miracle. Do that with me. Don't miss your miracle. Don't miss your miracle. Don't miss your miracle. Don't miss your miracle. It all is possible if you trust and believe that miracles are made by you and me. That miracles are made by you and me. That miracles are made by you and me. Thank you. Thanks for singing along with me.
Good morning. And I want to begin this morning by acknowledging Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday we celebrate tomorrow. I went back and reread his I Have a Dream speech, and I was just as touched by it as I was when I very first read it. So it's really something to kind of remind ourselves that we've had some absolutely wonderful leaders in our midst. Well, our theme this month is Ordinary Wonders, and we're looking at the daily miracles that are all around us, the things that we take for granted, and it's and we shouldn't. But we're also looking at ways to raise our awareness so that we can find meaning in what appears to be mundane, or we can see the beauty and grace that is our true heritage, and it's all around us. Today I've chosen balancing being and doing as our topic because it does feel like our lives are filled with to-do lists. You know? So as Deepak Chopra says, sometimes we're more human doings than we are human beings. But if we don't honor the being part of us, that part that connects us with divinity, then our doings become more stress-filled than they need to be. There's a poem that speaks to this, and you've probably heard it, but it kind of fits. I got up early one morning and rushed right into the day. I had so much to accomplish that I didn't have time to pray. Problems just tumbled around me, and heavier came each task. Why doesn't God help me, I wondered. He answered, you didn't ask. I wanted to see joy and beauty, but the day toiled on gray and bleak. I wondered why God didn't show me. He said, but you didn't seek. I tried to come into God's presence. I used all my keys at the lock. God lovingly and gently chided, my child, you didn't knock. I woke up early this morning and paused before entering the day. I had so much to accomplish that I had to take time to pray. So this is kind of from a Christian perspective and an anthropomorphic God, but it's metaphysical in its own sense too, because we do believe in a power and presence that responds to us, but it responds through our consciousness, through our belief. And also that there is a sea of infinite potential from which this response originates. We call it law, but we are in this sea of infinite potential, and we draw from that every time we choose, every time we think, every time we have a belief that's pretty strong. Albert Einstein said that no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So our belief is that true prayer is not beseeching God to do something for us, but rather it's aligning ourselves with those aspects of God so that we become, our consciousness is raised in that level. That puts our consciousness above the level of the problem that we are dealing with. So we're not coming to the problem at the level of the problem. And that's the consciousness that is the basis for any solution. You know, Lao Tzu tells us the way to do is to be. And he is saying that doing is a product of being. So if we are at one with love, harmony, peace, and joy, and we pray to see that perfection in the situation at hand, then our prayer has a much better chance of being answered. Because if we think of it as the universe can only say yes, and I think this is cool, I like that, we've talked about it a lot, but if the universe can only say yes, what are we giving it to say yes to? So if we come with complaints or worries or despair, the universe has to say yes. But if we come with hope and with this idea that there is a power and presence that is bigger than we are and knows what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and we can trust that, then that's what we manifest in our lives. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us spiritual communion is deeper than intellectual perception. The prayer of the intellect may be perfect in form, but it must be warmed and colored by feeling and conviction if we would enter into a deep spiritual communion with reality. So a prayer is not about words. It's not about having the right words, not having the right formula, but it's about the feeling that comes from our hearts. When the bishop's ship stopped at a remote island for a day, he determined to use the time as profitably as possible. He strode along the seashore and came across 3 fishermen mending their nets. In very broken English, they explained to him that centuries before, their island had been Christianized by missionaries. "We Christians," they said, proudly pointing to one another. The bishop was impressed. Did they know the Lord's Prayer? They'd never heard of it. The bishop was shocked. "What do you say then when you pray?" "We lift eyes to heaven. We pray, 'We are 3, you are 3, have mercy on us.'" The bishop was appalled at this primitive, downright heretical nature of their prayer, so he spent the whole day teaching them the Lord's Prayer. The fishermen struggled with the words but gave it all that they had, and before the bishop sailed away, the next day he had the satisfaction of hearing him go through the whole formula without a flaw. Months later, the bishop's ship happened to pass those islands again, and the bishop, as he paced the deck saying his evening prayers, recalled with pleasure the 3 men on that island who were now able to pray thanks to his patient efforts. Lost in thought, he happened to look up and notice a spot of light in the east. The light kept approaching the ship, and as the bishop gazed in wonder, he saw 3 figures walking on the water. The captain stopped the boat, and everyone leaped over the rails to see this sight. When they were within speaking distance, the bishop recognized his 3 friends. "Bishop," they exclaimed, "we hear your boat go past island and come to meet you." "What is it that you want?" said the awe-stricken bishop. "Bishop," they said, "we're so sorry. We forget lovely prayer. We say, 'Our Father in heaven, holy be your name, your kingdom come.' Then we forget. Please teach us your prayer again." The bishop was humbled. "Go back to your homes, my friends," he said, "and each time you pray, say, 'We are 3, you are 3, have mercy on us.'" The bishop knew the words. The fisherman had the faith. The bishop had the education and the knowledge. The fisherman had the conviction and trust. The bishop was concerned about the formula or the theory, and the fisherman felt the fire of their faith. And that's the way it happens. We have to come from the inside. So how do you and I move from that intellect? Because we do tend to, especially in this religion, we do tend to go towards the intellect rather than the feeling. How do we move that intellect towards a deep conviction and feeling? And I think we need to be like that person in the prayer. When we begin to see our to-do list, then we know we have to start the day with prayer. With some form of spiritual practice that takes us to that place of feeling the God presence within us. And the more we practice, the easier it becomes to reach those high levels of consciousness. Dr. Holmes says to understand our unity with God is the beginning of wisdom. To realize that we can express our divinity today should be the start of a conscious practice that will gradually conduct us to a greater and greater experience of life. Thus, we will demonstrate not only that an infinite good exists, but that it is now operating in our experience. This is the purpose and the practice of the science of mind. So if you and I are going to have a practical faith, then we have to trust that this spiritual universe with its spiritual laws is powered by love and responds to our word, our thought, our belief. And the more we understand and feel that power and presence within us, the deeper our faith becomes. And when we pray from this consciousness, words don't matter. I've often told my students, God doesn't speak English. You know, God speaks feeling. So like the fisherman, it is the trust and the feeling behind the words that count. St. Augustine said, faith is to believe what you do not see, and the reward of this faith is to see what you believe. Faith is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. So the unseen is the potential, the possibility that exists in the world of pure consciousness, what we call the mind of God. When we pray, we are directing this pure consciousness toward our desire, and our faith then draws the desired result to us from that unseen consciousness. And the process is pretty simple, but there's a couple of caveats. The first one is we need to be sure our ego is not attached to what we are praying for. Several years ago, I taught a class based on the work of quantum theorist Dr. Amit Goswami. And this man is both a scientist and an enlightened spiritual being. His father was a big person in the Hindu faith, I think. I'm not sure exactly what he was, but anyway, when he speaks, when Amit Goswami speaks, he sounds like both a scientist and a mystic. So it's fun to see spirituality and science come together through him. And he says that the reason our prayers don't often work is that we are using our ego to try to manifest something that doesn't come from the ego world. When we are aligned with quantum consciousness, the mind of God, then manifestation is automatic because we are at the level of pure creativity, not at the ego level. And the second one is, are we willing for our prayer to be universal? Because if we're praying for particular good to manifest in our life, is there any place in us where we wouldn't want that good to manifest for anyone else? And if it comes to the service that we're holding grudges or condemning others, then we are still coming from ego, and that keeps us out of the level of pure creativity. When we see there is a universal, undivided consciousness in which we are all one, then we understand that if we exclude anyone, we are automatically excluding ourselves. And the third one is we cannot watch for results. In the science of mind, we have a 5-step technique for affirmative prayer that we call spiritual mind treatment. And the last step is release. You and I can say a beautiful prayer, but if we keep looking for results rather than releasing it with confidence, we are thwarting that creative process. Because what are we telling the universe? What are we giving the universe to say yes to? I don't really believe. I don't trust this. Just like pulling up a plant every few days to see if the roots have grown. You know, we're not going to have a very good plant if we keep doing that. And you often hear the practitioners or me close our spiritual mind treatments with some kind of a statement that says, I now release these words into the mind of God to do its perfect work. Because release, when it's done properly, is a total letting go of the prayer work that we've done, knowing that it is in process the minute that we said, and so it is. I believe that we as a species are awakening to the fact that we in the phenomenal world that we call nature are woven into this cosmic tapestry. whose threads connect us not only with each other at the deepest level, but with many dimensions of our reality. Beyond the limits of our five senses, an infinite field of consciousness interacts with our own, waiting to be recognized by us, embraced by us. And that's the divine ground of being that mystics speak of, or it is the quantum ground which science is now beginning to embrace. When you and I are at home in this ground of being, feeling completely a part of and immersed in a divine presence, when we feel no separation from spirit, each other, or anything that lives or moves, then we see the glory in ourselves and everybody else and everything, and we experience the joy of simply being alive and simply being a part of it all. And when we balance our doing with our being, or perhaps maybe it should be our being with our doing, then we find that our life becomes a life of ease and of grace. Namaste.
This is a song by Susie Ogden. Love Susie. And she actually wrote this as kind of more of like a meditation kind of a chant, but I thought it might be fun to do this. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the presence of love. I am blessing and accepting, I am the power of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the presence of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the power of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the presence of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the power of love. I am blessing. Where is it? I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the presence of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the power of love. I am blessing and accepting, I am the presence of love. I am blessing, I'm accepting, I am the power of love.
So it's time for our offering, and if you'll join me in the offering affirmation on the left-hand side of the bulletin. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me, multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Thank you for my abundance. I feel prosperous. It's all around me. Thank you for my abundance. I feel prosperous. It's all around me. Thank you. It's all around me.
Thank you so very much for your generosity that allows us to be a beneficial presence in this community and allows us to continue to be able to be a center. So, in a time when a lot of churches are struggling, we are very, very blessed. So let's close out this portion in prayer, and then there's some goodies back in the back, and a chance to meet some of the people that are here for the first time. Okay. So I know that there is one life, one mind. It is the life and mind of God. I know that this life and mind are whole, perfect, and complete. That it is pure love. And I know that made in the image and likeness, we are that as well. So as we come to this life, loving it, seeing those tiny miracles that are everywhere, we open ourselves up to the joy, the mystery, and the magnificence of who we are. I speak my word for anyone who's experiencing any kind of a challenge. And of course we know that right where that challenge is the power and presence of God. I give thanks for the opportunity to be here today, to be a part of this beautiful Sangha that we call the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. And I give thanks that my life is so intertwined with yours. We are all so very blessed, and so it is. So can we get into a circle and do our dance?